Yeah, just for the sake of you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was
Yeah, I mean, how long?
Good morning. He kind of does everything here. He kind of does everything here, huh? He's the engineer. Reverend now. Jim? I have. Yeah. Really? Oh, you've met him before?
I'll be right next to you. That's how here. So.
Good morning.
Morning.
Well, good morning, everyone. John, Don and Wark has arranged a guest speaker as Jim Hare from is a guiding teacher from the Valley Streams Sangha that practices at SBMG. Is that Sacramento Buddhist Meditation Group? The Sacramento Dharma Center. Thank you. Yeah. And I'm sorry, Jim, I don't know, what is your Dharma name? So on. So on. So Jim has driven up here from Sacramento to be a guest teacher today, give a Dharma talk. So thank you for making the drive up here. We appreciate it. Thank you, Reverend Alex, for setting everything up and for everyone being here. We'll go ahead and do our usual chanting and sit. And we'll start by, we'll say our names, go around and just introduce ourselves first. And then just a reminder, when we are walking, that's the time when you can use a restroom or get a drink, or if you need to do anything, then you can bow out of the Kinhin line and, go take care of whatever it is you need to do, and then come back, and then you can bow and enter back into the line. So I guess we'll start to the right.
Dave.
Dave.
Josh.
Josh.
Lynn.
Lynn.
Linda.
Linda. Laura. Jim. So on. Alex. And Shoju. morning service. Opening this Dharma. The Dharma is vast and subtle. The Dharma is vast and subtle. We now have a chance to see this. We now have a chance to see this. Study and practice this. May we realize this true meaning. May we realize this true meaning. Three refuges. I take refuge in Buddha and resolve that with all beings I will understand the great way whereby the Buddha seed may forever thrive. I take refuge in Dharma and resolve that with all beings I will enter deeply into the sutra treasure whereby my wisdom may grow as vast as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha and in its wisdom, example, and never failing help and resolve that nothing will impede my progress toward full enlightenment. Adadipa. Atadipa. Viharata. Atasarana. Ananasarana Dhammadipa Dhammasarana Ananasarana. YN purification, page 5. All the evil karma ever created by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, hatred, and ignorance, born of my conduct, speech, and thought, I now confess openly, fully. The Heart Sutra. The Maha Prajna Paramita Hedaya Sutra Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, when practicing deeply the prajna paramita, perceives that all five skandhas are empty and is safe from suffering and distress. Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. That which is form is emptiness. That which is emptiness, form. The same is true of feelings, perception, impulses, consciousness. Shariputra, all dharmas are marked with emptiness. They do not appear or disappear, are not tainted or pure, do not increase or decrease. Therefore, in emptiness, no form, no feelings, perception, impulses, consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no color, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of eyes, and so forth, till no realm of mind consciousness, no ignorance, and also no extinction of it, and so forth, until no old age and death, and also no extinction of them, no suffering nor origination, no stopping, no path, no cognition, also no attainment, with nothing to attain. The bodhisattva depends on prajna paramita, and the mind is no hindrance. Without any hindrance, no fears exist. Far apart from every perverted view, one dwells in nirvana. In the three worlds, all Buddhas depend on prajna paramita and attain anuttara samyak sambodhi. Therefore know the prajna paramita is the great transcendent mantra, is the great bright mantra, is the utmost mantra, is the supreme mantra, which is able to relieve all suffering and is true, not false. So proclaim the prajna paramita mantra, proclaim the mantra which says Gate, gate, para, gate, parasam, gate, bodhi, swaha, gate, gate, para, gate, parasam, gate, bodhi, swaha, gate, gate, para, gate, parasam, gate, bodhi, swaha. Tori Zenji Bao, page 10. I am only a simple disciple, but I offer these respectful words. When I regard the true nature of the many dharmas, I find them all to be sacred forms of the Tathagata's never-failing essence. Each particle of matter, each moment is no other than the Tathagata's inexpressible radiance. With this realization, our virtuous ancestors, with compassionate minds and hearts, gave tender care to beasts and birds. Among us, in our own daily lives, who is not reverently grateful for the protections of life, food, drink, and clothing? Though they are inanimate things, they are nonetheless the warm flesh and blood, the merciful incarnations of the Buddha. All the more we can be especially sympathetic and affectionate with foolish people, particularly with someone who becomes a sworn enemy and persecutes us with abusive language. That very abuse conveys the Buddha's boundless loving kindness. It is a compassionate device to liberate us entirely from the mean-spirited delusions we built up with our wrongful conduct from the beginningless past. With our response to such abuse, we completely relinquish ourselves, and the most profound and pure faith arises. At the peak of each thought, a lotus flower opens, and on each flower there is revealed a Buddha. Everywhere is the Pure Land in its beauty. We see fully the Tathagata's radiant light right where we are. May we retain this mind and extend it throughout the world so that we and all beings become mature in Buddha's wisdom. Zazen. You can continue sitting if you wish, or you can line up behind me over here to the left, behind Jim, and we'll do walking meditation. You can stand like shoulders arm's length apart. And like I said, if you need to use a restroom or get a drink, you can bow out and do that at this time. We'll start with our left foot, fall, and then I'll do a little chant at first. If you want to join in, you can join in or stay silent. Present moment, only moment. Calm, release. 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 Present moment, only moment. Calm. We'll turn to our seats now. Oh, there it goes. I'm sorry, page 15. The four Bodhisattva vows. Many beings are numberless. I vow to save them. Greed, hatred, and ignorance rise endlessly. I vow to abandon them. Dharma gate.
Generous. Goes to Buddhist. nurturing way, way to the east, or the way to the west. Alex is River Neil Lake. He was also he person for a priest. So comedies. This morning I wanted to start off with our comedy sister, yeah, teacher, the 9th century Chinese teacher called Dongshan. Dongshan is considered progenitor of Soto's and Soto, which later after that, 13th century. So I'm going to read a story, typical Zen story from the record of Dongshan, and as often stories are, a dialogue between students and the teacher. And so in this story, chose to translate. So just bear with the story, because it will require a little bit of unpacking. So the student in this case is called Wang Yin. Study Wang Yin said to the master, I without the proper path, I still can't escape the vicissitudes of feeling and experience. Do you still think that there is such a path? Why said, no, I don't think there is any such thing. Then the master asked, where do you get your feelings and discriminate upon them? Why said, I ask that in all seriousness. I just really would like to know where. to religious practice. And so forth. Feel each step, ups and downs, feeling like we're tossed around. And by our discriminating conscience, by our calculation, by that variance, the way we think in way somebody else feel that variance in that very kind of that tendency to cling to attack to our own so for us, central problem. By the way, proper path, the way I'm practicing Muslim because I'm still taught since I can't escape still think there's doesn't mean that there isn't a way to meet feelings. It's just that escape feelings. So this is, of course, the idea of escape is it readily comes to mind. That kind of what escape is turbulence of feelings. The way things are from the forms or the way happen what escape why is it no escape is because they kind of taken the first way out. Which is but escape has escape isn't always escape. Various there can be a lot of different those people. Practice the way to go. So Wagner does recognize the central problems which are these vicissitudes. And he's really at his wit's end because he hasn't found the right button to push
No.
on the computer. So, what is that place? You could say that's the place that we are pointing ourselves toward in sitting practice. We're pointing ourselves toward that place of non-horizon, of concepts, cognitive constructions around our feelings and thoughts. There's nothing wrong. It's very natural for us to generate, the body and mind to generate feelings and thoughts. That's always, we're never going to, we never would want to leave that situation, that feelings and thoughts are arising. But we want to enter, or we're aiming at that place where we have a choice of how to respond to those feelings and thoughts. So there's this Buddhist term, it's called prapancha. Has that term ever been bandied about in this practice place? They have been. Jeff's nodding his head, he's familiar with it. Prapancha means, just very shorthand, it means mental proliferation. And it means the tendency of the self to proliferate concepts onto just the raw sense data that's coming to us. to our sensory experience. The tendency to proliferate concepts onto our sensory experience in a way, and it has the effect of solidifying our discriminating ideas about what's happening. Prapancha is very closely related to the Western idea of projection, projecting the self onto phenomena, and inability to see things as they are, because what we only see our concepts because we've developed a habit of making conceptual discriminations, and when we have some experiences, we only see our conceptual discriminations. Like when a certain person we know talks, we've had a certain person who talks in a certain way, and they talk kind of loud or something like that. And it's really hard for us to hear that person when they're talking because they talk too loud for us. And we may have even said something to this person saying, you kind of talk too loud. When you're talking to me, I'm right here. You could talk just a little bit softer, and we could still communicate. And we may have said that, but because of habit, that person always talks loud and gets close to you and comes with a kind of strong energy, and even after you've been quietly sitting, it's still kind of shocking and a little bit difficult for you, because you would really like this person to talk quietly. So, what would be a proper path? Yin would like to find the proper path. And it's not to escape from the vicissitudes of feelings and discriminating consciousness. But, and you could say the only way, but there is relief. There is relief from our clinging to feelings and discriminating consciousness, and it's right through feelings and discriminating consciousness. If we have feelings and we have discriminating consciousness, we see those things as they are, and that's the power of God, to just observe what's arising in the mind, observe our tendency to get caught by it, let it go, and just repeat over and over again. And through that process, which isn't recommended, not trying to form a gaining idea about the place where there isn't any grass for 10,000 miles. Not to try to form an idea about, if I just practice this way, like Solon and Donlin are saying, I'll get to this peaceful place where nothing is coming up. Nothing is coming up. And then things will be all right. But nevertheless, we don't form a gaining idea about getting to that place. But nevertheless, we travel in that direction. We do travel in that direction. And the way of traveling is just to observe our experience moment after moment. And there's a wonderful teaching in the sutras about just exactly how to do this. This is the excellent method for traveling to the place where there isn't any grass. This is, I forgot which sutra this is from. My teacher quotes it all the time. It says, please train yourself thus. In the scene, there will just be the scene. In the herd, there will just be the herd. In the sense, there will just be the sense. In the cognized, there will just be the cognized. When for you, in the scene, there is just the scene. In the herd, just the herd. In the sense, just the sense. In the cognized, just the cognized. Then you will not identify with the scene, the herd, the sensed, or the cognized. And if you do not identify with them, you will not be located in them. If you are not located in them, there will be no here, there, or in between. And this will be the end of supper. In the scene, let there just be the scene. In the herd, let there just be the herd. And what is cognized, what is thought about, just be, let there be what is thought about. So this is non-proliferation, right? We have non-proliferation of weapons, right? And now we have non-proliferation of the mind, non-prapancha, which is pulling back all that projection and just seeing what is here as it is, hearing, just hearing. In what is heard, just resting right there. In what is heard, and whether it's, and then we can try this, we can try things like it's a siren and it's loud, or my friend was too loud, and then it's like there's just a loud noise here. I hear a loud noise, and I remember there's a teaching, don't make up stories about this loud noise. Don't, and if you do, then notice that you're making up a story about. One of my first teachers said, you know, we have a reaction, like we hear a siren, oh, it's so loud, you know, we plug our ears and get away from it. And he said, but remember, you know, they're going to help someone. I always change my whole perspective on sirens. I try to remember that when I hear that loud noise, they're going to help someone. I'm not quite sure why Brian says, is it all right? Is it all right to go in such a way? Is it all right to go to that place? There are teachings. There are teachings about not getting, we're more likely, it seems like sentient beings, human beings, are more likely to get stuck on the vicissitudes of feelings and discriminating consciousness. But it's also possible for a depth, meditation of depths to get stuck on what we call emptiness, what we call the place where there isn't any grass for 10,000 miles. It's also possible that you can get stuck there. You just stick to emptiness. So maybe Wang heard that teaching about sticking to emptiness. He said, "Is it all right? I'm afraid I might get stuck over there on the side of emptiness." And final comment from this teacher is, you should only go in such a way. Don't be concerned about that. Don't be afraid. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. And actually, you have to really be quite an adept to get stuck over there. And if you get stuck over there, I'm pretty sure you won't stay stuck very long. And but you can get stuck to the idea that you were once there, that you once went to that place, and you can think, oh, if I could just get back there, that would be. And then your practice becomes kind of distorted by, it's got that gaining idea. It's got that gaining idea of getting something that you don't have right now. And we more than anything, we try to locate ourselves here, and we locate ourselves here. We don't get stuck to here. We locate ourselves there, and we don't get stuck there. And we locate ourselves in the in-between, and we don't get stuck in the in-between. We get stuck on Mr. In-Between, right? There's a song. So this is the wisdom teaching of the Buddhists. This is that's what Zen masters are pretty focused on. Understanding what wisdom is and trying to communicate that to others. But it's important to remember in our practice the compassion side, the other side, two big pillars of Buddhism, wisdom and compassion. So in this process of, we could call studying the self, studying our vicissitudes, studying the places we get stuck, it's essential. It's essential to regard oneself and all beings with a mind of great compassion. So I don't like to neglect that side of practice. There's a poem about that side of practice that I like to read. I almost have it memorized, or I used to have it memorized, but I think I'll read it because I want to get every word exactly right. So when you're in the midst of the vicissitudes and you feel caught, and you're down in trouble, you need someone to care, you could remember this poem. This is by Gerard Manley Hopkins. Maybe you know it. I would think Unitarians would like this poem, and would know this poem. If they don't, they would like to bring it in. My own heart, let me have more pity on me. Let me live to my sad self, hereafter kind, charitable, not live this tormented mind with this tormented mind tormenting yet. I cast for comfort, I can no more get. By groping round my comfort less than blind eyes in their dark and day, or thirst and find thirsts all in all a world of wet. Soul, self, come, poor Jack self, I do advise you, jaded, let be, call off thoughts a while, elsewhere, leave comfort, root room, let joy sighs. At God knows when, to God knows what, whose smiles not wrong, see you, unforeseen times rather, as skies between high mountains, lights a lovely mile. The smile's not wrong. He says, the smile's not wrong. See you, not you see. He's a very free, this poet really messes with language. But, a person who smiles not wrong is actually, joy is coming from within. That's the feeling. The joy is coming from within because that person has raised, in this case, in this poem, has raised a mind of great self-compassion. He's raised a mind. Yeah, questions or discussion?
Thank you for that. First, thank you for a very clear, illuminating talk. The question has to do with the first reaction to Walliam. You should go to a place where there is no inch of grass for 1,000 miles or 1,000 pieces. You see kind of a double entendre there. First, it doesn't exist in the manifest world. Yeah, you can't find that way in the constructed world or the conceptual world. But then go to the silence, go to that emptiness that may occur in meditation. So I'm wondering, the listener, myself, I went to both places, and I found that was a very artful way of phrasing it, the master. That, yeah, you're not going to find it here. It's a Buddha recommended to the woman who had lost a child, go find a home where there hasn't been the loss of a person, and then you'll be okay. Of course, doesn't exist. But the alternative is to go within, and find that. So I found that very, very interesting. Though I may have, that might not have been the author's intent, the master's intent. I found that a very interesting dialogue talk. I'm wondering if you see the same thing, or is that just too much abstraction?
Oh, no, I don't think so. You know, I think for most people, what we need to do is, as you say, turn within and deal with the inner confusion, the inner vicissitudes. I think as a practical matter, this is best to do some turning within, and then through some years of practice, I think it's also possible to turn without and project a whole completely different reality to this world, which is the reality of peace and harmony and goodwill among all people. And we know there are beings who have walked around in this world doing that. We just lost Thich Nhat Hanh, for instance. And I had the good fortune once to be with the Master Thich Nhat Hanh in person. And I saw him walking around in this world, and I couldn't have any difference between him and the world. I mean, he was so with the world and with the world's suffering, but not in an oppositional way ever. It seemed like not in an oppositional way ever. Always in a way seeking the path of harmony and peace and ease. And so, we may not reach that level of, I would call, sainthood. I mean, it's hard to say any other word for Thich Nhat Hanh, saint. And but there are such beings, and we can take heart from that, and we can take them as an example, and we can. I think this is very much in the Unitarian creed, where the progressive Christian creed is, let me be an instrument of thy peace. Let me be an instrument of thy peace. And this is it's funny because I grew up in the Christian tradition, and oftentimes, especially in my earlier days, maybe not so much, but I would have like these Christian aphorisms come up to me a lot, and because that was my tradition, and I think that prayer, "Make me an instrument of thy peace," is a wonderful short prayer, and an aspiration that we can have. So it's not out of reach. It's not out of reach actually for anybody. And we probably all had those moments where we acted in the world in a way that we felt really good about, that we felt like, I helped out there. I was non-reactive, and I was calm, and I listened, and the way I was helpful, and we should remember that about ourselves. We've had those moments. We've cultivated enough to know how to enact that way. Sometimes.
Well, I do want to thank you because I just found your talk so clear. And also you said, this is something like you said, paraphrasing, I believe. This is one of really the central question of Buddhism. And I think it was so good to hear that as you stated it, because I too was raised in a Christian path, and I have recently tried to return to the Christian path because it's what's been here, and for other reasons. And I have found that it doesn't help me to disidentify with what's going on. In other
What
words,
the,
the Christian path, I get all caught up in conceptual ideas and words. And so your description of it reminded me of the need to not identify with what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what I'm thinking so deeply. Because of course, well, maybe not of course, but I do. And I notice how I've gotten much more trapped in it since I've gotten away from a Buddhist path. So I guess I just want to say how much that helps me, and that I appreciate your restating the concept of not clinging to what I think is happening, but it's really my projection of what's happening.
yeah, that's when you see, that you may be, when you see your projection onto, what you heard, or the volume of what you heard, like my example, you see your projection onto it. But then then the trick is cutting off the evaluation of good and bad. Cutting off that evaluation, going beyond that, let's say going beyond that evaluation, because you may say bad, you may say this volume is too loud and that's bad. You may go that far, and then you can cut off there. You can say, okay, I saw that, I had a reaction, like it was too loud for me, and then I saw, then I had bad, and maybe you had even that person's bad, and so, but somewhere along the line, you catch up with yourself, you catch up with it, and you say, that's enough, that's enough. That's enough. We did that, now stop. We might have to do it, we might have to go down that path a little ways. It's okay. At some point, you catch yourself and you say, stop. That's enough. That's practice. And, again, with great compassion for ourselves, we've had these habits, according to the Buddhists, in this lifetime and in many previous lifetimes. So we're starting from behind, with a handicap.
Yeah, I was trying to I don't know that this is what I'm supposed to do in meditating, but one of the things I was doing and have been doing is kind of, as I was meditating, I was noticing how I was trying to reach the place with no grass.
Mm-hmm.
How I'm trying, and what that even feels like as I try, because it's the antithesis of being, really, as soon as I do that. So is it good to make good versus bad, right? Is it wise, or in your view helpful, to kind of do that when I'm sitting, to notice, well, any thought comes up and I notice there's that thought, there's that reaction, that's how it feels in my body, this is my cognition. I'm not wanting to do that a lot, but I do think, because it's all a verbal active process, but I do think sometimes that's really helpful to me to do it while I'm quiet, while I'm on the cushion, and I can raise my awareness of how I react.
I think so too. I think that's, we're here in a circle raising our awareness. That's raising our awareness. Yes. Just what you said, just what our reaction, our reactive minds. And the point at which we cut it off is the point at which we cut it off. I have some other Zen aphorism on the edge of my mind, and I don't know what it is. It's right there, but I can't remember what it is. But it's just as you say.
I just spent this last week at the beach with my oldest daughter, son-in-law, and wife. And I left my hearing aid charger at home. So I knew it was going to be a peaceful week. And I found that I wasn't reacting. We, been together for many, many years, so we have a whole lot going on. And they had to speak to me if they wanted me to understand them. And, look at me and talk to me and be aware. And it was a wonderful week. I just had to share that because we got back yesterday. It's so close.
A week of enhanced mindfulness.
My hearing is off and on, so I do my best.
Did you hear what I said or not?
I heard a good bit of it.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Hi.
I need to.
Well, I think this event, 10:30 might be the limit of this event, so maybe we should initiate a closing process if there is one, or we should just bow out. How should we do it?
We usually bow out. We don't really have a process yet for closing. Work on it.
Well, I'll do one. This is a kind of dedication. We have this the dedication of the merit. We offer the merit of our gathering to the welfare of all beings. And it starts with a quote from the Lotus Sutra, and then it goes into the four Bodhisattva vows, which is a little different than the way you get them, but I'll do my version and you can kind of see what you think. May our intention equally extend to every being and place with the true merit of Buddha's ways. Beings are numberless. I vow to save them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. Buddha's way is unsurpassable. I vow to become. Thank you.
Everyone is invited to tea and cookies if you'd like.
Where do I live? I hang my hat in Sacramento.
Laura, all right, Laura. Yeah.
We have a conversation.